Um, Hey, that's amazing. It's the first time I've actually been on these morning shows, and it's actually Maddie who says, "Hey, bro, we got this wake up call." I said, "Bro, I'll try and get." And I said to myself, "Well, listen, hey, it wouldn't hurt if I actually just sort of come along and have a listen." But I've been quite amazed by all the sort of testimonies and things like that have been shared surrounding a wake up call. But I just want to share a few things, my journey really. And I guess the biggest wake up call, and I guess it seems to be the running theme at the moment, was where I was left with a choice. My back was up against the wall. Either I did something about it, or I was a candidate for stroke. And so that kind of took me into a stratosphere that I've never been before. And it was my real life a wake-up call. So my story that I want to build around here and share with everybody is that it caused me to embrace my conditioning. It caused me to purpose and make that conscious decision. And I think we all need to make that purpose and conscious decision when we're confronted with crisis. And so let me just share very briefly, because I know time's running. It caused me to go and do my own research. What is it that I can do? How am I going to change this? And so I did my research and I did it thorough. And so a lot of things needed to change. And you know, I want to share this. I'm 63 years of age, and it's just a number. But I want to share this with you. I started researching, so diet became the first thing. I changed the diet. Then I was around about 122 kilos, and so I changed the diet, and I went plant-based. And for a Kiwi Māori boy who eats a lot of meat and stuff like that, a change to go to plant-based, it's a huge change. But I needed to, not for me, but for my wife and for my children. And so it became something that I needed to. It became hard stuff. And so with that, and that was only part of the journey. The next journey is I needed to get into exercise. And so I started walking, I started running, and I was doing 7-10 kilometers a morning and things like that. And what was happening, my whole mindset was actually changing. I was conditioning and the whole thing, and that was a wake-up call. But here's the story and all that. The fundamentals on how you embrace that change are the fundamentals that I'm carrying into this in terms of the journey through what post-COVID did for me, because I had to reinvent myself. And so the applications of reinventing yourself, I needed to. So I needed to do all my research on crowd one as well and things like that. And so once you have those sort of understand those sort of mechanics and fundamentals, it all comes back down to having that mental toughness and that fortitude and that attitude to be able to go and take your business to another level. Because in order to go to another level, you need to go to a place that you never changed. Certain things have to change, and those things are habitual, they're disciplines and those sort of things. And so I've kind of been in that transitioning mode of discipline, understanding the model. And for me, it was about coming on the meetings and getting the runs on the board. And I heard Noel shared it as well, you know, you can't cheat the grind. The grind will find you out. And that's anybody in this business. The grind will find you out. But one thing that I've learned, and I guess it's a part of my makeup and being in property development and managing projects and stuff, is that once you've had a close and once you had a registered somebody or a group of people, you now have the ability to duplicate that process through what they call scalability. Everything is scalable. And so now you can measure your scalability by the energy that you put in. Rowan actually mentioned in terms of the journal. The journal is part of the process. It's part of developing those habits, because with the journals comes the ability to see scalability that you may not see on your own, and you can actually record those sort of things. So these are all some of the dynamics that I'm working on myself, and not anybody else. And yes, people, it's not a race, but it can be to get you to where you want to be. it's your journey, it's your thing. And one of the things that in order for my change from my health was that it wasn't only physical fitness, it wasn't only change of diet. You got to bring a balance, and part of that balance is, for me anyway, was to bring a spiritual balance in the whole thing. So now that I've got the spiritual balance with the eating and that sort of thing, those are the sort of dynamics that I'm bringing into developing Crowd One. And at the end of the day, it is about taking massive action or face massive inertia in terms of things. But it's also, and that's the thing that I admire from Stephen, is that his updates and his continuation to be out there in the public arena with media, with bringing solid substance and content. And I looked at that this morning and I said to my wife, well, embrace all that and get in and know your product, know your service, develop, harness that, because that starts to come out, that will come out in your teaching and your sharing. And one of the things that I've just sharing with everybody, I've been working on and just doing some final testings today, is that in order to reach our whānau and our people back home in New Zealand, is that I've been doing some testings to go live to do presentations in New Zealand as the Alpha team in New Zealand in a time that's conducive for our people back in New Zealand at around 6 to 7 o'clock their time. So I'll be doing those in Australia at around about 4 o'clock my time. But that's something that I chose to do, to be able to meet the demographics, to be able to reach people and things like that. One of the big things that really hit home about this business is being able to separate the vehicle of the business and being able to be on the cutting edge of the hard stuff. We have the social proof, and once you understand the social proof and you have the hard stuff of providing a solution, it doesn't matter what the social status is, people. This vehicle can actually facilitate all demographics of all status. It's knowing your product, it's having confidence in everything in your back office and things like that. And I think this is where it all comes together. And knowing your social proof is that it's a whole repertoire, but everybody's different. This is just how I roll. And when I get into do presentation, I'm kind of right in the zone and getting into the hard stuff of what it's going to take. These are the mechanics of what it's going to take. And this is the portal that will help you to change your life, change your style. So that's a bit of a wake-up call. So I didn't want to take up too much time, but my wake-up call is it was either my life, change it, know what I'm going to change, and carry those dynamics into as a business. So there you go, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.